I'm James Burton, the president and founder of Gig Strategic. We're a digital marketing agency in Charlottesville. So happy to have you guys on the call today. Glad to see that we've been growing every week, and we definitely would love to have a few more folks on as well. We want to keep it small. That's been our intent, so that we can have some interaction. We do want it to be a fun place, a place that's light, a place that's positive, and a place where we can learn. And so we've been trying to get excellent people in the industries that we're talking about to come on and share with us. And so I'm going to turn it over to either Shelly or Joe, whoever wants to introduce our guests today.
Yeah, James, thank you. Yeah, I'm Joe Duran, Shelly Perkins, and the two of us are Wabash Lake Advertising. We are an ad agency, but if you've heard in the past few weeks, we were proud to be the anti-ad agency. We do not operate like the rest. We're trying to do this with all of our clients, put our arms around them and say, we've got you. That's our core thing. So it's something we're pretty proud of. And part of how we're able to do that is by working with a lot of talented local vendors who either we've known for a long time or have earned our trust. And someone who fits both categories is Grayson. Grayson is someone we turn to for social media. And more than social media, it's how to have the right presence, the right authentic presence in social media, which is not the easiest thing to do. And it's always changing and shifting. So I'm going to pass it to her and let her take it from here.
I'm unmuted. I was silenced. All right. Hey guys, I'm going to get this slideshow up for you. I'm Grayson, and we're going to talk about the most effective social media practices today. And I was going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from Williamsburg, Virginia, and that's where I grew up. I went to Radford University, and my major was Media Studies Production Technology. In 2018, I started Grayson Media, which is a social media, marketing, videography, photography company. And I also do Google advertisements, YouTube ads, things like that. I want to start off with some statistics about each platform that I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. As of March 31st, 2.6 billion monthly average users worldwide on Facebook. That's 1.73 billion login daily. That's so many people. And out of all the platforms that we'll cover, Facebook is the king of social media. Facebook ranks third most visited website, with Google and YouTube as most popular. Nearly 75% of high-income earners use Facebook, and 65% are under 35. So this is important because age is definitely a demographic that you want to think about when you're picking which platform you want to use. If you don't want to use all three, if you just wanted to use Facebook, just be aware that 65% are under 35. So I found these little images, and 80 million small businesses around the world use Facebook pages. That's insane. And the average time spent on Facebook is about an hour. On Twitter, it's about 3 minutes. And on Instagram, it's less than a minute. So from my perspective, that means people are getting on there, posting a picture, maybe scrolling, and then hopping off. So here's some Twitter statistics. 145 million daily active users, and 500 million tweets are sent out each day. Almost 6,000 tweets every second. The demographics is 63 of Twitter users are between 35 and 65, and most are male, which is very interesting to me because I feel like Facebook is definitely more of, you want to go on there, you want to post a long post, you want to talk about your business, you want to talk about family, anything, you can post as much as you want on Facebook. Twitter is shorter. And so they always say that women talk more than men. I guess Twitter is very telling of that, because men can get their tweets out in a sentence or two. Instagram statistics, 1 billion monthly active users worldwide, 500 million daily users, and 71% of US businesses use Instagram, and it's close to Facebook, and 71% of users are under 35. So Instagram is definitely a younger platform to use. If you're targeting anyone under 35, it's more on Instagram than Facebook. And the hashtags. Hashtags on Instagram are super important. People can click on hashtags. It takes you exactly what you're looking for. If you guys don't know what hashtags really are, it's just like you put a hashtag and it groups whatever that word is that you want them to be together. So if you say hashtag Local Together Stronger. Any post that Local Together Stronger puts out, any post that is relevant to that topic will be under that hashtag. And Instagram engagements. They generate over 4 times more interaction on Instagram compared to Facebook. So you're getting more engagements on Instagram in that less than a minute people are on there, which is really interesting. So here's my think 3. So every time I'm making a post for somebody, I like to think of 3 things, or somebody, I say clients or myself. You want to think 3. So am I posting just to post? Is my content engaging, or is it visually pleasing? So my big thing is you don't want to overpost. So quality over quantity. And you want to have a good post, a solid post. You don't want to just post a picture of a trash can and say, hey, this is a trash can. Why are you posting the picture of a trash can? Explain. Try not to overpost unless there's an event coming up. If you have if you're using Atlas as a venue and you're having a wedding that you want to show off, hey, we're having a wedding, everybody's invited to this wedding. I'm just making stuff up. And you want to get that out. You can make multiple posts during the week. Try to limit 1 or 2 posts a day, just because you don't want to overwhelm the customer. Overwhelming is the quickest way to lose followers. People see, oh, well, they posted again. Oh, they posted again. Unfollow. Is my content engaging? You want to be personal and not a robot. You want to react to others. And if you're just making a post and it's a static post or it's a link to somewhere else, explain why. You always need to explain why you're making a post, because if not, why are you making it? You want people to be interested, which brings you to the call to action. So if you make a post, you want somebody to click on your site. You want them to be interested. You want them to look at your website. You want them to go onto your Instagram. You want them to go on your Facebook to learn more about you and potentially come use your business. And definitely respond to comments. If somebody comments and says, wow, I love this, reply, hey, thanks. This is what we love to do. We're passionate about it. And visually pleasing. Think pretty. You want to post things that you want to see. You're not going to follow something that you're not interested in. So you need to make sure you know who your audience is, who you're trying to address, and post pictures that you feel are relevant to your business and that look nice. Things to observe. Your competition. Now I say your competition not for, oh, I need to copy them, or I want to see what they're doing so I can not do that. You want to use them as inspiration. If you see something you like on your competition's page, don't copy the idea, but maybe you can think, wow, that really works for them. What can I do that's going to work for me? Your audience, you need to know who your audience is, where they're located, age, gender, student, etc. You want to know who you're trying to focus, why you're trying to get them to come to your business, and the amount of hashtags on Facebook versus Instagram. Definitely on Facebook, 1 to 5 solid hashtags. Nobody wants to see a ton of hashtags on Facebook. Instagram's different because Instagram just brings you right to another page. You see all the hashtags as you would on someone's Instagram page. Facebook is a little different. You just should have 1 solid, hey, this is what we're trying to focus on. Common mistakes, overposting. That is the biggest one. A lot of people think, well, if I blow them up, if I show them on Facebook, then they're going to see me. They're going to know who I am. They're going to want to be involved. It's not always the case. Not enough videos. Videos is huge in social media. Even just talking to the camera for a minute, just say, hey, what's up? This is my company. This is what we do. You could do that once a day, or you could do it once a week, just to make you more personal and show people that you're a business, you're a real person. You're not just sitting behind a computer screen saying, hey, we're a great company. Show yourself, explain, tell people, and not addressing the negative. This is a big thing because you really have to think there are going to be comments. And this is a issue. When I was doing some research, you find out that a lot of people don't want to get into social media with their business because they feel like people are going to say negative things, or there's always going to be negative comments always on social media. So you just have to figure out, don't fight them back on it. Don't say, oh, well, you know what, you weren't a good customer. You don't want to say anything like that. You want to show them, hey, we apologize for the mistake we made. Is there a way we can fix it? Try to come to a solution, not make the problem worse.
Thank you so much. That was great.
There were a couple other questions that popped up on the side as well. Instagram. How does Instagram define engagement? The engagement definition is different from platform to platform. What do they consider engagement?
So engagements are by how many people like or comment on the posts, and impressions are how many people view it.
Got another question here. Instagram.
Sure.
I see some great Instagram posts and I want to share them in the same way I share posts on Facebook, but I can't figure out how to do that.
So there's apps. I use, hang on, let me get up. It's called Repost. It's a free app. So I don't know if you guys can see this. This is probably going to be terrible. So this is Repost. When it comes up, this is all you see. I just did it for on Local Together Stronger for Atlas. So on Instagram, there are the 3 little dots right here.
Yep.
And then when you click that, you click copy link. There's a little button. So when you click copy link, this little green thing comes up at the top. And then you need to go to your app, which is the Repost app. And right when you open it, it already linked it. So here it is. It just comes up. So once you click copy link, this is the first one that comes up. And then at the bottom, there's this little repost. So if you're like me and have multiple accounts, it will take you to Instagram. And if you need to switch an account, I'll show you how to do that. So you click repost right here. And it's going to tell you, it's going to copy the caption. So whatever the caption they used on their post, it's going to copy it as well. And you say, got it. And it takes you to Instagram. Ta-da! And then you'll click if you want on your story or your feed here. It's already automatic. And then you click.
Can you also share someone's story on Instagram?
Yes, through Repost, you can share someone's story as well.
Okay. How many times can you repost something? I mean, I know it's a sliding scale on Facebook. They poo-poo on some things and then they don't other times.
Yeah.
But a best recommendation, like if to repost 5 days, is that too many or?
That's to repost probably too much. There is a limit when you first start out, and we found this out. When you first start out on an Instagram, there's I think it's like a 60-day thing to where they decide if you're spam or if you're a junk account. If you're reposting everything, you will get shut down or you will get, blocked for X amount of days. So if it's a new account, don't repost a bunch. Instagram has a wonky rule where they're trying to figure out if you're real or a robot or things like that. So I think a repost, you can do a repost as many as you want, just not consecutively, like not every single day, because they're going to think you're a fake account. And
so they're looking for those patterns that a bot might do.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So if it's an established account and they wanted to post maybe 10 or repost 10 different things throughout the course of a day, that should be safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That should be good.
Grayson,
Amanda?
can I ask you something else?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
Instagram, as far as I can tell, only permits you to post to it from your phone. I still haven't figured out a way to post anything to Instagram from a laptop or a PC, which is a pain in the neck because my phone, all our phones only have a certain amount of memory for photos and video, and I'm out of iCloud storage really quickly. So everything ends up being uploaded onto network drives or wherever I'm holding it on a laptop, but I can't actually post it from there.
Yeah. So Instagram is it's mostly just an app. So having post to, hang on, I'm trying to think of the name of the app. There's an app. Do you have a Mac or a Dell or a PC?
A PC.
Okay. I know for Mac, there's an app you can get that it kind of like tricks Instagram to where you can make posts onto Instagram from the computer. But other than that app, it's mostly a phone, a mobile device. I know. Oh, you're muted again. No. Oh, okay.
You don't want to hear what I have to say.
Oh no.
Jason, I have a question for you. You were showing how, this is Nina with DNS Wines. You were talking about how you could post to story or post to your page. And I've never posted to story because I'm not familiar really with what that is. I sort of see it and it pops up and I'm slow and it moves on to the next one. I find it kind of a little frustrating. But why do people post to story versus to their regular post? Is there a strategy? Do you do one over the other? Why would you choose? How do you know what to choose to do?
So have you heard of the highlights, or have you seen the highlights that people do on their pages?
Yes,
Oh,
sort
okay.
of.
So
Not really. Not
fine.
intentionally.
So the on stories, you know, only last for 24 hours. But every time
I did not know that.
So.
So.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't really, I'm a Luddite.
I will.
I don't know.
The stories only last for 24 hours and then they're gone.
Okay.
So
Okay.
So especially with, like I said, with events, that is something you really want to push. You can post as many stories as you want and it's gone in 24 hours. So in that case, you're really not over posting because you're not really posting. You're kind of just saying, hey, this is what we have. So that's when stories are really relevant, as well as once you post onto your story, it goes into this little archive. And with that archive, you can make highlights onto your page. So it has to be a story to go into your highlight. You can't just post into a highlight. So highlights are really good because let's say you want to post a picture of a product that you're selling and you're like, this is the specific product. It's a hair conditioner. So you post a hair conditioner on your story, then you post in your highlight and you can name your highlight. This is the name of the hair conditioner. And then people can click through, or if, and it shows more and more detail about that specific product. And then after you click through them, it goes to the end, it switches to the next highlight. So it's kind of like if somebody sits there and clicks through it, you're kind of being forced to watch the next one as well. You can always exit, but yeah. So I think
you post this story, it's gone in 24 hours, but if you put it into highlights, then people can go through your highlights, which really are your stories.
Yeah.
And yet you're not cluttering up your posts.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's worth the price of admission.
I love doing, so I'll show you on my personal Instagram, I started doing a highlight for baby, obviously, because he's super cute. So I did, for my highlights, I have family, Bennett, which is the baby, and then hubby. And so if somebody's like, oh, I want to creep on what her baby looks like, they can just flip through the stories that I have posted and see all the pictures I like. And then I don't have to constantly post a picture of him.
And so for business, they could do a category, such as wedding.
And that's what a lot of people do. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Weddings or menu, different images. Oh, this is a celebration of anything you can post on there. It's whatever you guys want to make it.
Can I do a screen share temporarily so they can see the highlight piece? Because I have Instagram pulled up.
Yeah.
One sec.
That would be great.
And then Chris has a question after this as well, so we'll get to Chris next.
Because this is great for, can you see it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Historic Post Office. So for businesses, this is a wedding venue, and this is something that Atlas is going to be moving towards as well. You can highlight the main pieces of, what's important to your venues. So ceremonies, you click on the highlights and you're able to flip through and see your stories that you've posted. So your stories archive, like she said, and then you're able to compile them into categories. So ceremonies that have been taking place, various different, times in the venue. You can food just by itself, so it just keeps building. So that way you're not losing anything. You can always resort back to it. It doesn't just completely disappear. It's pretty cool. Allows you to just access it really easily. So just easier to see when you're looking at it from somebody else's who's done instead of from ground zero.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
That's cute.
And Chris had a question. Chris, feel free to ask if you're on mute. Go for it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, what's your view of LinkedIn? Because that model has changed quite a bit over the years. I've dipped in and out using LinkedIn. Frankly, it hasn't really done that much for the various business ventures that I've had. But I'm taking another look at it. So where does it fit in the spectrum that we're discussing right now?
So I like LinkedIn. I'm not the biggest fan. If out of all the platforms, LinkedIn is probably my least favorite, solely because LinkedIn is very braggy. And that's kind of like, hey, this is our business. This is what we do. This is what we can do for you, which is great. You can tell people about your company. You can get the word out there. But a lot of times people are looking at that to make more connections to build their business to, hey, we need a photographer in our company. We need this. It's more so building it that way rather than building more clients. If you want more clients or you want more business to your company, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn is building relationships between business to business or business to needing more help with your company. That's how my view on it. And that's how a lot of people see with LinkedIn. So, and LinkedIn's always changing. At some point, LinkedIn's the best one to use just to get your business out there, because then people are looking and saying, hey, oh wow, this is a really cool business. This is what they do. Then it goes back down to being the least.
Yeah. I mean, I've stepped back into it just to see if much has changed, but I've just recently, and I've felt the same way, that actually didn't deliver the sort of value that we'd be looking for, and just interested in other views, because I think the original model of LinkedIn, which was the sort of trusted connection, if you like, that original model worked, but I think they're well away from that now. And I would
agree. I would agree. I think Amanda, I see your comments here on the site too. LinkedIn, if it's business to business, yeah, it depends on your target. So if you're going strictly business to business, yeah, you could dial in. You could find a lot of the people you're looking for, the categories you're looking for. But Grayson did touch on something I've picked up on the past as well from an advertising perspective, is that everyone who's there and who's active, and that the key word is active. There are a lot of people on LinkedIn, but they're not all active. And so the ones who you're going to get an ad or a message in front of are the trends I've been seeing. They do fit into what Grayson was saying, is that they're all actively looking for somebody too. So it's almost as if you're in a room full of salespeople that represent the businesses. And so a salesperson doesn't want to sell them to the salesperson. They want to sell to the business beyond them. So that's the hard part, is getting past that. So if you can dial in your attributes enough and try to get past that salesperson, okay. The better way I've found to activate isn't really advertise. It's having a presence there, having your resume, posting a few things, whatever you need to do, make sure it's updated. And then use its tools to find people who you're looking for, and then see people that who might know them second or third, and then reach out to them that way. And that's the way to get around that room full of salespeople mentality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I think really that it's also a shift in thinking, because
yes.
Our business, really, we're serving both various industries, but also general enthusiasts. So we think of it in terms of communities as opposed to businesses or segments. It's communities that we serve, and within the communities, it could be individuals, it could be a restaurant, a hotel, a winery, and making that shift in thinking has really helped, because that helps us sort of look to the tools that are available, like Facebook and Twitter, which predominantly are the tools that we use. But it just helps us sort of think through things, I think, a little more precisely, and how best to use the tools. But just the session today has been useful because it's given me a couple of ideas of things we've never done before. So.
And if I may, I'm going to throw out one more that's it wasn't on Grayson's list. We didn't ask her to talk about this one, but it has changed in honestly the last 90 days. It is Nextdoor.
Mm.
If you're familiar with Nextdoor, a lot of people are. A lot of people still aren't. Nextdoor has changed. They've kind of become like the Facebook Lite, but they've changed how they're operating. And I've picked up on this again. This is just literally this week. It's become a focus. Even last night, your business page. Every local business should now look at putting up a business page. It doesn't mean you need to post. So that's why we didn't bring this up to Grayson. But it's not something you need to actively post on unless you do have something that fits. But Nextdoor is becoming a referral service, and I like this sort of business service. And if you have a business page there, which is really simple to do, then people are more likely to tag you and refer you authentically. That seems to be the way they're pushing, so that you can now, even just in the past 30 days, you can now buy sponsorship, local zip code sponsorships. So this doesn't apply to everybody. Chris, I don't believe it applies to you. It may, but if you're a carpenter and you are in the 2311213 zip code, you could become for $200 a month, you can become the referred expert carpenter in that area. I don't have any results on how it's working, but it is a new thing. So that's something new that's popping up as well. Since we're kind of going in that LinkedIn direction, this is another one that's not a bad place to at least have a presence on.
It's very geo-targeted, Joe, and in certain parts of the country works really, really well. Yeah. I think in Virginia and in the Richmond area, it's picking up.
It's growing.
Enormous following. But for example, right now, my boyfriend's down in the Florida Keys. He's in Marathon, which is the Middle Keys. Nextdoor isn't used by anybody down there, and it's really bizarre because there is a community of permanent residents down there. It's not all tourism, and you would think that community of permanent residents would be making use of something like Nextdoor, but they're not. They're all relying on Facebook groups. So Nextdoor it's funny because it seems to be very pocketed to urban areas like we are, and also to bigger cities. I mean, I used it a lot in San Francisco, but I think it's also very popular in boroughs of DC or
yes.
Areas of DC. Personally, I love it. I think it's an absolutely great app, and I use it for everything, like everything. Yeah, you do, Nina, too. I know. But I need to do more. I think I need to do more for the business with it too.
And they've made it. I mean, just even if you do have one, but for people who don't, it's really simple. You just need to be by the phone number that is associated to your business to activate. So it's they call you, you're activated, done, and then you just cut paste info off your website, add a few pictures, you're good to go. And you can claim, if you have multiple locations, you can claim those multiple locations as long as you're near that phone number. I do see Facebook countered by doing the Facebook groups, and so Nextdoor's days, I don't know, they may have to shuffle their plan again. Everybody has to reinvent, but it's still, like you're saying, it's free to be there, and it doesn't hurt. So it's at least another place to have a presence, since we're on that LinkedIn topic as well.
I have another question for Grayson, if I may. So we've now talked about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Nextdoor, and I'm sure there are others. So as a small business wine import wholesale company, perhaps Nextdoor isn't really where I'm going to present myself because I'm to the trade. But in my daily now, I am managing so many different postings. I'm hitting something, I'm posting it to our Facebook, then I'm going to Instagram and I'm posting it to Instagram. I let go of Twitter just because it was just too much politics and everything else. And so most of my friends have left Twitter, although there are people who still I follow, but I don't post there really anymore. But, and then the new thing has been people who are going dark on Facebook. They want to get away from Facebook and regain their non-social media life. But so they still have internet, but they're not on Instagram, they're not on Facebook, they're not on social media, but they are able to access YouTube. So I've been doing a series with my husband just for getting through Corona, where we're doing a nightly cocktail, sipping with the Schroeders, SIP, sipping with the Schroeders. So we do a 5-minute post. We're raising money for Feed More here in Richmond, Virginia, $1,200 in. It's awesome, but people are saying, this is awesome. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, but I want to share this with my parents. They're not on either. Can you put this onto YouTube? And I think, well, should we put that onto YouTube? And if we do, how do I even go about doing that? Because I don't do YouTube and wouldn't even know. And then going back to my business going, am I missing people because they're not on Instagram or they're not on, I'm trying to cover everybody. And then there's this whole population of wine drinkers, because we're luxury wine at a, higher age, the population, we're not really, serving millennials yet, who don't do Facebook or anything like that. Can we and should we be building a YouTube presence to capture them? And then how do you go about doing that, since the platform of Facebook and Instagram are about posts and hashtags and it's not always video?
So perfect. So with YouTube, I definitely think those videos you're making, yes, put on YouTube, put them on Google My Business as well. You want to make that into a post. Like, I know you're like, oh God, but if you want to switch over to, if you make a videos, I already spoke about videos being awesome. People love seeing videos. And so you can start a YouTube channel, start posting those videos on there. Well, to start a YouTube channel, it's, oh wait, you're muted again. Oh no. No, sorry. If you have,
I was going to say, no clue on that. My kids would probably know more now on that than I do, and they're 9 and 10. They know all the YouTube celebrities, but I don't have a clue how to even do that.
Do you have a Google page, like a Gmail account set up with your business?
I have a Gmail account, not set up with my business, but I have a Gmail account.
So when you go onto Google, you type in YouTube, you click on it, and you can, it takes you right to the top corner, and you can click create an account, and it connects it to your Gmail. So if you have, you can even use your email address and set it up named your business and change the name in there, and it will come up as completely your businesses. And then you just, in the top corner, it says upload video, and you just upload a video. And I'm making it sound like, oh, no, but it really, it's pretty step by step once you have a Gmail set up, because YouTube and Google are together.
Okay, I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah, so when you set up the Gmail, you can go onto YouTube. It sets up the YouTube account with it. You just change the name to be however you want to be represented. And then you start uploading videos. Now, once you have those videos uploaded, you can copy and paste that link onto Facebook. You can post that video to Instagram. And then you can send it to the people who don't have the social media that they're not using, and say, hey, this is the YouTube channel. And then to, I guess, monitor that, you can see how many views it got. And then on Facebook, you can see shares. On Instagram, you can see the likes.
And can you monetize that in the terms of the fundraising, where we're really trying to make this something entertaining for people, but if they want to put a $1 in the virtual tip jar for my husband, the bartender, or my kids if they're making a cameo, or me even recently, to raise money for Feed More here in Richmond, Virginia, how do I put that in there? If it's a video, how do you
YouTube does
share
have
a link,
YouTube does have a feature where, I don't know if it applies for this, but you can actually become a member of a channel and support through that. This is almost another like 3-hour video just to talk about this one topic. But what is probably best is however you're doing your current donations and your YouTube link. So what Grayson's talking about is use YouTube as a repository, basically your library for your content. And then you share that link elsewhere. So when people watch it, underneath the video in your YouTube post, donate here.
Okay.
Yeah, the link is there. And then also inside the video, you can also hyperlink graphics that YouTube shows you how to do. You can have a button that pops up that says donate to our cause here. And it's just a black and white, but they click on it and it takes them to the link that you've supplied.
Okay.
That's probably
So
the
you
easiest
can
way,
do
but
that
then
with your
that video
business
can be
as
shared in
well.
all your
So,
different content places.
so like if Amanda wanted to do something, Amanda, do you have a YouTube for your business?
Sort of.
So, yeah.
We do. It has not been utilized as much
Okay.
as it could have been, but it does
Okay.
exist. There is a YouTube
Okay.
channel.
Because I'm just thinking about people like, let's say I wanted to refer you to my parents. Well, they're not on Facebook, but they come to Virginia. Well, they used to anyway.
Oh, there's
And
the
it could be
website.
perfect for them.
There's
So
a website.
yes. But what about like videos that show you walking around the property or giving a tour? Would that be
Right.
better on a website, or would that be better on YouTube, Grayson, to promote yourself, or both?
I think posting on YouTube, you can put it anywhere else.
Exactly.
So having
Okay.
YouTube as the main place that you started posting your videos, you can then share it on any outlet you want to use.
Literally
Okay.
think of YouTube as the library that you go then and you take your book and you can read that book anywhere you want,
Okay.
but it's still based out of that one library.
Great.
If
Thank
that's
you.
the best way.
Really helpful.
And
I'll mute.
we're getting close on time. So Don's got a question. So Don, if you want to unmute, or I can ask for it if you want. So Don was asking basically best scheduling so Grayson, what do you like to use as your scheduling app? Because you manage multiple accounts for multiple groups. You know, is it Hootsuite? They're always changing and adding. What do you recommend?
I like Hootsuite. Now, if you want to share somebody else's post, Hootsuite, or like repost, Hootsuite's not the place. Creating your own and scheduling, Hootsuite. Don, have you used Hootsuite before?
Couldn't find the button. I did a ways back. It was more kind of a general thing because I think the overall consensus is people are getting overwhelmed by the number of social media platforms that you have to maintain. Especially when you start adding video to everything. So yeah, John and I were just talking this morning about it. Literally, it takes hours when you start doing professional looking stories to create the content for your highlights. You know, it's a lot.
Yeah.
They intentionally do the fear of missing out. So next door, do you want to be on there? Well, maybe you do now because I brought it up, and I don't want to miss out. There might be people there that I really should find out. They're all attracting people. The trick is, there's so many tricks to it, but everything is disposable nowadays. Like Grayson was saying, Instagram is just 60 seconds. I'm not stunned by that at all because you're on it, you're off. So many people devote so much time to Instagram though, but it's disposable to the user. So it's really most importantly knowing your user, what your potential customer, where odds wise are they? Because I mean, you just still play the odds, and it's the favorites are Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. You know, there are only 3 or 4 big players, and then just focus on them, and the rest will come and go. And I don't want to say you do your best, but they're all changing their algorithms. They're all changing their platforms every 90 days, it feels like. So by even making it an attempt,
something about
it's the best
Hootsuite?
way. Yeah.
Can I just tell you something about Hootsuite? It's a royal PITA, okay? So Hootsuite keeps losing the connection with Instagram. This week, it has also lost connections with LinkedIn. So every time you go into Hootsuite, there's a message at the top saying, we're having problems. And you're like, oh, for crying out.
It's because they're changing their platform every 90 days.
Well, and I think that some of it, as Joe says, is because the algorithms are changing. Facebook is definitely making problems for Hootsuite. Facebook Creator and Studio seems to be the place where Facebook wants everyone to head. And I've resisted it until now, but I can see myself giving in because I'm so sick and tired of the problems I'm having with Hootsuite. And I like the Hootsuite platform, but I am finding myself having to spend time on Hootsuite for one set of things and then go separately to each of the other platforms to make them work, because I can't get it to talk to everything. And I'm done trying. I mean, and you can forget Hootsuite support because they are useless. They're about as much use as a chocolate teapot. I mean, honestly.
Damn.
You just
I'm gonna give you a pitchfork. And
hours.
we'll set
To
it
be
on fire.
clear, you're not promoting
goodness.
Hootsuite.
No.
And
But
here comes Jerry from Hootsuite. He's coming
But
on.
I'm fed up because we're paying for it and I can't use it properly. So at this point, I'm this close to saying, not paying for this anymore because it's absurd. It's taking too much time and it's not working.
That was my issue too. I used Hootsuite for at least a year, 2 years for posting. And it's like Joe said, they change up, especially now. It's crazy how much they change every 60 to 90 days.
Yeah.
With what their platforms look like and their connectivity with everything. I'm with her on that, definitely. It was a pain in the ass. It really was in certain areas. And it's hard. Definitely, you're trying to find the top 4 platforms to work with or the top 5 platforms to work with. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask was about the algorithms. Grayson, from your expertise, do you see, I mean, with the algorithms making a really big difference right now on whichever platform you work on? I mean, that has to take into account for when you guys go and post on certain things.
Yeah. So Facebook is definitely the biggest platform. And that's because you get to see everything in so much detail. So as she mentioned, creator and studio, those you can really see exactly who's looking at it, how many people are engaging with it. Did people click off your site to your website? And you see that every single month from the business side of it. So I think Facebook is very, very good about that. Instagram is okay to show you. It monitors, how many, hang on. I was going to get up on my phone, but that's just annoying to hold my phone up for you guys. But Instagram shows you some of that. Twitter is the business to business. So Twitter is my least favorite of those 3. But Facebook is definitely the outlet that I would recommend.
And
Did that answer your question?
I have a question. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So we're talking to businesses today. So isn't it also important? It's for me, my thought is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it's not important to be everywhere if those people are not who you need to reach. So if we know that Twitter is, 61% male, I believe was the, or 63, whatever it was, I feel like if you're not a male-driven business, that's not where you need to be. Do you think that it's more important to really analyze, who is on those platforms and maybe do 2 platforms instead of 6?
Yes.
Like, isn't that, so then that takes away so much of that pressure.
I think it's good to be on all of them, but you don't have to always post on all of them.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
If Facebook is where all your people you're trying to reach are, stick to Facebook. Maybe once a week, once a month, even post on Instagram or the other platforms.
But what's the point of that then? If you're not using the account, and I'm not arguing with you, I'm simply asking to understand. You'll
still get some impressions. Somebody may just be scrolling and want to experience a new wine, and they just happen to scroll onto Instagram and they see it by a hashtag, or they click to the hashtag and they're like, oh wow, that's interesting. Then you just got somebody and you didn't even mean to. So just being on that platform is great. Not saying you have to post all the time. You don't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking from the standpoint of there's so many other things when we're doing this, it's like, as a business, it's not all that you're doing. And so like being like everything else, that you should be like super focused on the things that truly matter and will make a difference, like overall over a long-term plan. So, if you're a flower shop, I'm not sure, I can see having the Twitter account to use around Mother's Day. So I'm saying that like, even on those other platforms, it's part of, you have to think about how you're going to use it, when you're going to use it, and set a plan instead of it just being like, oh, I have a Twitter account, I'll post on Tuesdays? Don't you think it's important to know exactly how you can utilize it, when you're going to utilize it, when you're going to execute those plans?
Yes and no. I think it's great to have a plan, but you also don't have to live by the book. So I think that if something comes up and you want to post on it, if you hear there's a huge, it's like you said, Mother's Day. So Mother's Day is coming up,
Yeah.
and you want that to be more than just your Facebook post, Twitter, Instagram, wherever else you want to post. So I think having them open, at least just to have that option to use, if you hear, oh, well, Twitter just shot up. Well, you've already got 100 followers. You've already got 300 followers. You don't need to start over right then. So I think having it open and accessible to use whenever you want is very helpful.
And I'm gonna just wave the not the white flag here, but we are at just past 1 o'clock. And I feel like these questions can keep going for another hour or so. So usually around this point is when we say, anyone who needs to leave, thank you for being a part of this. If you want to stay and keep asking questions, as long as Grayson's cool with it, we'll keep this open and running.
Cool.
But just waving that, throwing that flare up in the air there so everybody knows.
And
Well,
everybody,
I'm going to have to head out, but Nina, thank you for inviting me. This has been a really good
You are so
conversation.
welcome. I'm
And
so glad that we got to meet finally.
Yeah,
Before you drop off, we do have we have many other sessions, and they're all saved to YouTube because it's our library where we share the links. So James has that, and I'm sure we can send this out afterwards as well. But this is being recorded, will be saved, and all the other links are there as well. You can watch we have videos on branding. We have videos on Google My Business, how to use it best, how to review your analytics so that you can see who's really coming to your site and your business, and then how it impacts your social media and everything else included. So all those are there.
Chris, I had been inviting Tracy, and I'm neglected to invite you, and I should have been because you're probably the person that should have been getting the invitation. So I apologize.
Oh, no problem at all. Tracy and I talk all the time. So
okay, well, the other sessions, I've been to all of these roundtables, and I really think all of them would apply to Virginia Wine Academy for sure.
Yeah. And there's so much changing rapidly, and I think it's a good time to really reevaluate.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And
well, especially in light of your virtual tasting group that you just did last night and going to virtual learning,
Yeah.
So that was a great tasting last night. We had, I don't know how many people were on it, but it was awesome.
I've got
So
this
Grayson,
lined up for, I have one scheduled for three this afternoon, an informal one.
Cheers.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's going to be
Shelly, you have to join our tasting group. It was so fun last night.
Oh, yes.
I might have to do that. I just wanted to thank Grace, and
Yes, that too.
you covered a lot of information. I know that you wanted to go further in depth, and we really kind of tied your hands behind your back a little bit to make this digestible. That's what this is about. So this really was just a great overview, and thanks for being willing to answer questions. And we always say that if you have further questions, email any of us, email the person that invited you, and we can put you in touch with Grayson, and she'll be happy to answer some of your generic questions that apply to that. And thank you for your attendance today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks everyone.
And I'm jumping, so I got to go. Thank you.
Bye,
All
Joe.
right, great. Thanks,
Bye.
Joe. Thanks, Grace. And again, very good. And we'll send you a copy of this as well, because we're going to post it to YouTube. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Today we will post it to YouTube, James.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you all. We'll see you next week. I hope.
Bye, y'all.